Yeah, hi, Jeff Prentice. I'm here to talk about what we call jaggies. If you've ever, and let me show you what I mean. I'm going to pick the selection marquee, and I'm going to uncheck anti-alias. This is my modifier menu up here. Here's my toolbar, right? Modifier menu. I've turned off anti-alias, and I'm going to create a circle by holding down my Shift key. And I'm going to fill it, Option Delete, and I'm going to deselect. Now, let me zoom in on that. You see those? You see those edges? How they're all jagged? That's just the slang. I mean, I just call them jaggies, right? So if you get dinged in an assignment for, having jaggies, then the instructor's going to say, why do you have image degradation? That's just distracting. Okay, so. Let's make one with jaggies. Now, let me turn on, check the anti-alias. Anti-alias just means it's going to go out now and find pixels outside of the shape that I'm making, and it's going to try to soften that edge. So let me make another layer, another circle. Okay, I'm going to fill this. Okay, and now let's go in and look at the two. All right. You can see this has a jagged edge. This has a smooth edge when you step back. It's smooth because it has little gray pixels in there, right? Now, in the old days, when we were doing flash animation, we would want things to be aliased, because if you brought them into Flash and tried to animate them, they'd have a white fringe around them. This has a white fringe around it right now. If I tried to just take this circle and isolate it and move it somewhere, like Flash or something, I mean, it would carry that little halo around with it. But for our intents and purposes, one of the ways to get rid of jaggies, if you are making a selection and you are filling it to make a shape, then make sure your anti-alias checkbox is turned on. Okay. Now, the other thing is with your vector shapes, and this is actually, now they've given you the option to make a shape, make a path, and just fill it with pixels, make what we call a raster shape. All right, now I'm going to make a vector shape here, and I'm going to hold down my Shift key. And here's the interesting difference between vector and raster. You'll notice in this vector shape I just created that instead of, like we did previously, of creating a selection and filling it with pixels, what they've done here is actually created a mask that in the shape of a circle. And so since it's not an actual form, since it's just the hole that's getting resized, we can resize this up as much as we want, and it's going to be smooth. Okay, nice smooth edge. All right. So the advantage to the vector shape is that you can resize this up and down. Okay, so just, a short little discussion on jaggies. If you're using this tool, then make sure that you've got shape selected here. I haven't really played with CS6 that much. Here's the anti-alias. Again, it's pretty much like what we were doing with the selection tool. New layer. It looks like, yeah, it just automatically does it for us. Instead of creating the selection and filling it, it'll automatically create a circle for us. But if you're getting jaggies, then I'm going to guess that you are creating shapes with this tool, with the anti-alias checkbox turned off, or you're creating them and filling a selection and your anti-alias is turned off. I can't think of any other way that you'd be getting image degradation, that jagged edge. The other thing, I mean, I don't want this little short lecture to turn into a discussion of raster and vector, but the other way you're going to get image degradation is by taking a raster shape, see, one of these shapes that we made and then filled, so it's actually a little circle. If you size that up, you are going to get blur, okay? You're going to get a blurred edge. So you want to, that's another kind of way that you can get image degradation. But what I'm looking for are nice, clean, crisp edges that aren't distracting.